This part of the lake, known as the Long Water, was a broad swath that ran in a straight line to the distant stone bridge, where the lake then narrowed and took a sinuous turn to the north. The night was clear, and stars scattered a winking of diamond-bright points of light over its rippling surface. Willis stood very still, mesmerized by the view, as he spotted a lone swan ghosting along through a swirl of silvery mist. Lakes, rivers, oceans. He had always found something magical about a body of water. Closing his eyes, he recalled the enchanting sound of the surf from his youth. Ebb and flow, the elemental rhythm of life, constantly in motion. Perhaps that had appealed to him because he had always been a nomad. But perhaps it was time to return to his place of birth and put down roots. He had begun to question. The sudden crunch of steps on the gravelled path behind him broke through his reveries. Turning, Willis saw two men approaching. Surprised, he stumbled back a few steps. His first instinct was to flee, but then reason reasserted itself. He had nothing of value to offer, and thieves, however ruthless, didn't risk themselves for naught. Moving into a blade of moonlight, he faced the strangers and held up his arms. They would see a man beginning to bend with age, clothed in an old-fashioned tricorn hat and a well-worn coat. "My good fellows, I'm not worth the effort of an attack," he called. "I've no fat purse." Waggling his bare fingers, he added, "No fancy rings or gold pocket watch. I'm just a labourer who works with his hands to make a living." As they came closer, Willis found himself relaxing. They weren't ruffians. Indeed, to his eye, they had the unmistakable aura of gentlemen. Perhaps they were foxed, or perhaps they had an assignation. Ladies of the night were known to offer their favours in the Italian garden by the bridge. "You're far too modest, Mr. Willis." The voice, though soft, cut like a knife through the still air. "In truth, you're a very valuable man." How the devil did they know his name? I fear you've made some mistake," he replied. A nasty laugh, made even uglier by the deep-throated, cackling sound. "Are you suggesting that you're not easy to recognize?" Willis retreated another few steps, only to feel the stone retaining wall at the very edge of the lake beneath his boots. Damnation! Fear was beginning to rise in his gorge. "No, I'm suggesting that whatever you want, you've come to the wrong man." "I think not." It was knife voice again, the click of a pistol being cocked punctuating his words. "Come with us." Willis slid a step to his left. "It wasn't a request," snarled Cackle Laugh. He, too, brandished a weapon and started forward. Whirling around, Willis leaped to his left. His knee buckled as he hit the uneven ground, but he regained his balance and set off at a run. Low-hanging branches slapped at his face, knocking off his hat. "Faster! Faster!" But his body had gone soft from so many hours crouched over his workbench. Already his lungs were burning, his muscles screaming in agony. Slipping and sliding over the loose stone, Willis veered back toward the edge of the lake, where a narrow walkway atop the stone embankment along this section of the Long Water would provide better footing. He dared not look back, and his heart was pounding too hard for him to hear whether the strangers were giving chase. With luck... A hand grabbed at the tail of his coat, but summoning a frantic burst of speed, he managed to break free. However, he knew he hadn't a prayer of escape. His strength was ebbing. How strange that at such a moment his one thought was how beautiful the moonlight looked shimmering over the dark water. The water! It was, Willis decided, his only hope. An excellent swimmer, he hesitated for only an instant, then dove toward the darkness. But at the very same moment